what if your energy isn't something to manage, but something to nurture? Tell me, my love, when was the last time you treated yourself like the magic that you carry? And especially during the winter season, self-care isn't indulgence, it's actually very essential for us. But before we get into that, I would like to thank you for clicking on this video and joining me here today. Hi, I'm Kay and welcome to Kaydom, a space where we can come together to remember our crowns, reclaim our thrones, and connect with our higher selves. This is a place where we honor and step into our power, treating ourselves like the queens and kings that we truly are. So if this resonates with you, feel free to subscribe and join our growing royal community. Welcome to the 5th video of this Winter Arc Transformation series by yours truly. If you actually missed the first videos, the first 4 videos, I will have the playlist linked in the description as well as after this video. So without further delaying, let's get into the video right now. So as I've already said in the beginning of this video, self-care isn't just indulgence, it's actually maintenance for your soul. And in winter, the cozy rituals are exactly what we need to be able to relax, to be comfortable, to feel at ease, and to simply and truly be. Skincare routines, gentle stretches, warm cozy baths, tea rituals, and rest without guilt. But let me go a little bit deeper than that, because winter is the season where our circadian rhythm actually asks us a lot louder than in any other season to soften. Earlier nights, slower mornings, your hormones literally shift with the light. So supporting this rhythm is actually very biological, scientific. And in Japan, there's a word for this softness that winter calls for. It's Yutori, and translates to something like a moment of spaciousness, a breather between tasks, instead of rushing from one thing to another. So this winter, give yourself a little Yutori. Even one quiet minute is considered self-care in this case. Let me also give you a few rituals for this winter to help you cozy and soften up just as your body needs it. The first one is the winter transition ritual. And it's basically a 2-minute practice that you can do every evening. And what you do is you dim the lights, you wrap yourself in a blanket, and you either apply lip balm or hand cream. Slowly, intentionally. Then you breathe deeply and whisper, "I soften into the season." Now the second one is the cozy bath ritual. So make yourself a bath, let in the bath water, let the water into the bathtub, whatever, and put into the water 1 cup of Epsom salt and a few drops of lavender or other calming essential oils if you prefer, and also light a candle. And while you're stepping into that bath, taking that bath, say with intention, "I release what feels heavy and I return to warmth." Now, this ritual is not only for your own senses of like, oh, it smells good and it is like nice and warm and it looks pretty with the candle lit. It's actually scientifically backed up. Like, there's actually science behind this, because when your body feels warm, your nervous system softens and your brain literally is able to shift into safety mode. In other words, warmth makes you feel safe. Now the third one is tea as alchemy. I guess you could see tea as something like calm, in like literal calm in liquid form. It invites you to take a pause. It gives you a moment to come back to yourself, to really anchor into your body. Also, warmth against your palm actually stimulates the vagus nerve. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but that's the nerve of calm. And it helps your system move into rest and digest. So comfortable, cozy. A few tea blends that I would recommend for this winter are ginger and honey, hojicha or roasted barley tea, jasmine tea, and chamomile tea and vanilla. This also makes me think of a philosophy that they have in Japanese tea ceremony, and it's called Ichigo Ichie. It translates into one moment, one meeting. And what it actually reminds us of is that every cup of tea, every moment, every winter evening is a once in a lifetime event. So it reminds us to soften into the moment, because it will never come around again. It will never happen again in the same way 2 times. In other words, it reminds us of the now. And fourth is Hygge, a comfort. It's a Danish winter wisdom, so I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly or not, but Hygge is about turning the cold, dark seasons into coziness and intentional warmth. So your version of Hygge might be a cozy blanket, a candle, dim golden lighting, or drinking tea slowly while listening to some rain sounds. In other words, Hygge is simply the art of creating warmth in a cold season. And I mean, as you know from me already, my tea is essential for me in the mornings, and especially during the winter, I cannot go without my tea. Like, I need my tea constantly throughout the day. I need to make myself fresh tea again and again because it's so cold, and it really, really gives me comfort and warmth, and I immediately can cozy up just by drinking some tea. I'm not making this up, guys, it's true. Let me remind you again of the quote that I've mentioned before from Anne Lamott. Almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, including you. This is also what self-care, rest, a moment of silence, a moment of quiet, a moment of stillness is about at this point. And there's also another quote, I'm not exactly sure by whom, but this is what I found. And the quote says, "Rest is not idle, not wasteful. Sometimes rest is the most productive thing you can do." So if someone knows who this quote is by, please put it in the comments below, so I'll know for the next time. As you by now have probably realized, caring for yourself is not just physical. It's also saying no when you need to, creating routines that soothe you, and giving yourself the same tenderness that you would give to a loved one. And this is especially so because in winter, we have to consider another layer. Winter lowers your emotional energy budget. So just like a flower or a plant, you're not meant to bloom all year. Winter is the season to focus on your roots, to replenish. And psychology calls this seasonal energy budgeting. So in other words, your inner resources naturally decrease, which means that your boundaries, taking a break and letting yourself rest, as well as cultivating softness, matter in this season more than ever. But fear not, I also have a few rituals and methods, especially for your emotional wellness. The first one is the 3-minute check-in ritual. And what you do here is every night before bed, you ask yourself these 3 questions. How did my heart feel today? Where did I push myself too far today? And where can I soften more tomorrow? The second one is the Kaizen method for emotional well-being. Remember, Kaizen is the 1% improvement each day. So you can translate this into a 1-minute thing that you do for yourself each day. 1 minute of tidying, decluttering space, environment, reflects inner world, mind, well-being, emotional well-being. Or 1 minute of breath work for mindfulness. 1 minute of stretching, 1 minute of simple quiet. And remember, these compound like the butterfly effect. The third one is the boundary setting winter ritual. What you do here is write down 3 things you're no longer going to be available for, energetically speaking, of course, and 3 things that you're inviting in. Now, either fold it and put it into like your box that is meant for something intentional for sure, or you can burn it safely if you're able to do so, and this is a symbolic emotional reset. Fourth is emotional safety. So if you should feel overwhelmed this winter, you can try one of these things, like hum softly for 10 seconds, or try to exhale longer than you inhale. Another thing you can try is to put something warm against your chest, or try something like a grounding touch, like one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly, because these actually help to soothe the vagus nerve. And they can bring about a feeling of safety almost instantly. I'll tell you that I was not very good at saying no in the beginning to, well, mainly my family actually. I really always did almost everything, and I would be like, I wait until my family decides what they want to do. Everyone gets to decide except for me. I'm just going to adjust my schedule according to what they are doing. I never really got any time for myself. I would never speak up for myself, even if I needed the time. So yeah, like how can you start a YouTube account like that when you barely ever get to film, unless like no one's at home or something like that, because you won't tell anyone, right? Yeah, well, I definitely needed to learn to speak up for myself and also take time for myself, because doing everything for everyone left me completely drained for myself. I was so tired all the time actually. But now I feel a lot better because I actually get to do the things that I want to do for myself too, because I'm speaking up for myself, because sometimes when I cannot adjust and cannot do something for my family, I will also tell them that I already planned this and that's why it's kind of not possible for me. So I will say beforehand oftentimes that I already planned this and that, so what needs to be adjusted is now going to be adjusted to me, because I already said that this is what I planned. So this is actually still very awkward for me, but I definitely feel a lot better when it comes to my energy. I'm not as drained as I used to be anymore. I'll also share with you some quotes again. The first one, once again, I'm not really sure who said that, but the quote says, "You owe yourself the love you so freely give to others." The second one is by Anne Lamott as well, and it goes, "No is a complete sentence." The last one is from Jean Shinoda Bolen, and it goes, "When you recover or discover something that nourishes your soul, care enough about yourself to make room for it." Now let me also give you some journal prompts for those who like to work with them. And don't forget, as always, these aren't for perfection. They are an invitation for you to get to know yourself more deeply in a gentle manner, to learn about yourself and to really get to know yourself. The first one is, what makes me feel deeply cared for? The second one is, what can I give myself this winter that I've been waiting for others to give to me? And the third is, where do I need softness? Know that nurturing your energy is the greatest gift that you can gift yourself. When you soften, everything in the world softens with you. And also remember that you can't pour from an empty cup. So from this winter on, make sure to always fill yours first. Now, what I'd like to know is, what's one self-care ritual that makes you feel truly restored? So I'd really like to hear about that. Let me know in the comments, guys. Let's share this in our community together. And as always, if this resonated, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button to stay tuned for future uploads. Also, feel free to share this video with a friend, family member, partner, anyone you think could benefit from hearing this. And if you would like to support me a little bit more, you can buy me a matcha or a coffee. My Ko-fi link is in the description below. And of course, every single form of support is being felt and deeply appreciated over here. And you can also find my social media accounts in the description, so I'll see you there. Let's keep rising and crowning ourselves together. I'm sending you so much love, sending you lots of love. And I see you guys in my next video. Bye. Hold up. You guys know the drill. I've got the playlist for the winter arc transformation series linked right here, and if you care or if you're interested, you can also check out this video of mine. So yeah, I'd be excited to see you in either one of these.